My brothers, what's up? We have a request from a gentleman that went through a bad arranged marriage, lives in Australia, and has some questions about getting back into the game. So let's hop straight into this. This will be an interesting request. He's kind of new to my channel, and here's some stats and background he gives us first. So best way to start the intro, he says, is he's as beta male as it gets. I can assure you, probably not. I've seen worse than this, believe it or not. But anyway, I've been subscribed to the blue pill way of thinking since I was born. Western empowerment, women are the protected sex, they deserve special treatment. You know, the blah, blah, blah stuff. You always put other people's happiness ahead of your own. You don't make yourself your own mental point of origin. You give to charities and the poor because I deal with guilt and regret complex that ties into that. And you also have this like hardwired into you with culture and your family upbringing and religion. So your stats are 31, divorced, no kids, Muslim, but moved to and lived in Australia. Software engineer, makes about 200K a year, is 5'11", and about 100 pounds, or sorry, 100 kilograms. So 100 kilograms is about 220 pounds for the conversion, 222 pounds or so, I think. That means you're fat. You say you have a bigger build, but don't look as fat as a weight would say, but out of shape. Yeah, you're fat, dude. At 5'11", a healthy weight for you, like a good visually healthy weight for 31-year-old, I'd suggest getting down about a $185. You'll be nice and lean at that with some, nice lean muscle. You should have nice wide shoulders, narrow waist. That's what you want to aim for. Anyway, used to do professional boxing, no debt. The rub. So here's how life went down. Got married at 27. It was arranged. In the culture, that's normal for him, as is the thinking that love or attraction will come out of marriage, which is total BS, as you've learned. Guys, I talk to a lot of people on coaching, on one-on-one coaching sessions that are either of East Indian, or Muslim descent that got into arranged marriages, and there are so many horror stories that come out of it. You need to go through some sort of, I'm going to call it a vetting process, even though some people disagree with it, but you need to go through a period of time where you get to know them, so you know who the real person is. Because as you're about to see here, fellas, this is what happened. It was stupid, but at 27 didn't think that. It's more of, you have no problem as a man or woman just agreeing to marry someone. You don't even meet until 2 days before the wedding, and yes, that happened for him. Long story short, got married. But I got married knowing very little about her. Of course, dude, you only met her 2 days before. And what I knew scared the crap out of you. I thought she was bipolar. You should have walked right then and there. You should have walked when they said arranged marriage and you only get 2 days to get to know her. For somebody that you're supposed to spend like the rest of your life with. Like, give me a break. She had an entitlement problem, an ego problem. She came from a poor background, so she's basically marrying up. The marriage lasted 12 months, but here's what happened. This is where it gets interesting. Communication broke down well before the marriage. He was blackmailed by her family, by his family, and the girl to do it. Attacks like real men get married. That's a standard narrative. I did a video on my channel about why women shame men. So search on the YouTube search bar, entrepreneurs and cars. And then after that, put why women shame men and you'll see it. I managed your mother. I managed your mother. When did you become such a wimp? It's the honorable thing to do. Women should be treated like a princess, and that's why they should be tolerated, especially now. But ultimately, it was the weakness that didn't resist the attacks to my fragile man ego and sign up for the marriage certificate. So he goes through with it. He goes through all the shaming. He sees the red flags, but he marries it anyway, right? She was good looking, a 7.5 out of 10, and a qualified doctor. But no amount of good looks could justify the level of crazy. I could go into details for viewers. Listen, brother, anybody that's dated anybody that's bipolar, borderline, narcissist, psychopathy, any of those dark triad traits knows exactly what you're talking about. You do not need to explain it. They'll know what you're talking about. If you don't, guys, you can search the dark triad. You'll see exactly what he's talking about here. So he could go into details, even had to deal with crap during sex. So he had bad sex life as well. She exhibits extreme controlling behavior. This is part of the dark triad traits, right? If things didn't go her way, she would do the insults against me. So she threw hissy fits with insults. My values, my beliefs, my family. She had a selective amnesia regarding her BS. Well, of course. She would probe me for information and then use that against me. And like a chump, you'd be honest about everything. She didn't even try to hide her hatred of him. So they're married for a year. This chick basically hates him, is trying to run his life. Arranged marriages. There you go, fellas. Sign up for them now. If you sign up now, you buy one, get one free. That woman had her way with him. Every day he was blackmailed on the phone, at work. She called work and insulted and demeaned him, threatened to ruin his life. She called people up at work to destroy his reputation. She called up friends and family, insulted me there, called up immigration to ruin my chances of immigrating. Why she did this, I can only think that she was crazy. But dude, it's a control mechanism. This is straight up control mechanisms right here. But the time is fear, upbringing, blue pill BS. Couldn't stand basically. So you live through it for about a year. Divorce is not an option. Well, okay. So you're paying for everything and taking it up. Got it. Okay, divorce. So 12 months after all this nonsense finally gets out. Dude, you're lucky because you didn't have any kids. I finally got to the divorce, which she fought tooth and nail to stop, to make you suffer through. Again, divorce law isn't nice. Doesn't make things go easy. Got the divorce, no thanks to her amazing behavior during the process. Women have no intentions of behaving well during anything. On my channel, search for a video about the truth of divorce. Truth about divorce. That's probably where you're getting this soundbite here about behaving well during anything, because I've talked about that before. Anyway, but it's been 3 years since. I figured out that the experience was woke enough to figure women out and what to do things differently. So anyway, he's diving back in now. This is where it gets into the question. So he's seen maybe 100 or 200 women since then. Doesn't know if it's fear or if it's standards, but no woman measures up. If I see a hint of crazy or inconsistency with them, I bounce. No level of hotness is worth that. Heck, I want to feel attracted to women, but I don't. I figured maybe the ex-wife scared the heterosexual out of him, so he checked out dudes. So you swung for the other team. All right. Nothing seemed to work there either. Okay, so you're still straight. Ticked all the boxes anyway. Given the experience I went through, I figured I'm very defensive. I don't want to think that I've become the guy who doesn't want to deal with women. MGTOW, he says. I'm reading The Rational Male. But really, there's no good women out there to date or bang. Whenever I feel them, automatically start sizing them. Now, here's the thing about crazy. I think the stats are something like 23% of women have been diagnosed with some kind of personality disorder within the dark triad traits, or like close to the dark triad traits. That's just diagnosed. So there are women out there that haven't been diagnosed that are legitimately crazy. I'm not going to say it's like, I mean, if you've met 200 women and you can't find one that's not crazy, that's you, that's not them. They're not all crazy. I mean, yeah, there's a big chunk of them that are, obviously, but you're obviously scalded. You know, when I got burned on my arms with third-degree burns, I remember when my daughter was small, I was so careful with her around the stove, always, you know, burning things on the back burner so it was out of reach. I always kept an eye on her. I never left, you know, the room if something was on a stovetop. So you're just taking precautionary steps, which is totally normal. I wouldn't, like, that's fine. Maybe it's too recent for you because it's only been about a year. Conclusion. Anyway, he's taking a few hits and wants to fix this. Needs sincere advice. I think it's because I've lost a lot of confidence and lost my game thanks to that. Okay. Her, I'm supposing, is that what you mean? Because I've put more weight on since then. I have started going back to the gym. Financially, I make good money, and looks-wise, I don't want to brag, but I'm very good looking. There is a picture attached to your Gmail, so I can verify you're not ugly. Although I've gone from an 8 or a 9 out of 10 to maybe 6 or 7 because I haven't taken. That's because you're fat, dude. That's okay. You know, you can get back out there. That's the good news. Crazy is harder to fix. That's her problem. But, you know, the weight that you've gained, that's fine. You can certainly fix that. So you haven't taken care of yourself as much over the last 3 years for a reason. So your question is, give me some advice on how I fix my life. Women are some level crazy. Where can I find quality ones? Well, let's start with the quality one questions. Or should I accept being MGTOW? Let's close this. And there we go. Having problems with this app. Okay. So your question is, quality ones. Okay, let's say this then. There's no unicorn. There's good women, there's bad women, there's just women. You know, there's just women across the spectrum. Some are crazy, some are not crazy. Some have, like, all women have a little crazy in them. Let's be honest with you. There is no completely sane person in the world. We all have a little bit of craziness. So, like I said earlier, I mean, if you've gone through a couple of hundred dates and they're scaring you off because you're seeing just a little bit of something nutter in them, it's probably a little too recent. Like I said, you can see the burns, you know, the skull burns on my arms. Put that up there so you can see them a little bit better. Okay, boom. See that? I've been careful around hot stuff for a long time because, yes, I have been burned. So it's very new for you. So let's start there. It's very new. The other thing is, again, you're going to need a little bit of time. Third thing is, dude, you're going to have to update your beliefs because you're still, like, Yes, you are a blue pill beta. You still are. You still think that there is the one, because when you're saying, how do I find the quality one? That leads me to believe that you still subscribe to the soulmate myth. There is no one. You're reading the Rational Male book series. That's a good start. I'd say go through it at least 3, maybe 4 times. Book 1 and 2, mandatory reading, guaranteed. Go through it 3, 4 times until it sinks in, because when you close off again saying, where do you find the quality woman? Don't go looking for a quality woman. Get on your purpose in life, okay? You're chasing your excellence. You're a young man still. You've got, like, what you need to be focusing on is losing that belly fat, okay? Get fit. Get into some kind of competition sports. You said that you used to box. Find something. I don't know if it's maybe martial arts or something where you can compete. Play volleyball, mountain bike. I don't know. Find something to compete in that allows you to, 1, burn off the body fat, and 2, have some successive wins. You've had a horrible marriage, dude. You got thrown into the ring with tigers, lions, and leopards and jaguars, and you've come out of it. You're alive, but you've come out of it beat the hell up. So I don't blame you for not wanting to be around cats. I get it. But you need to focus on yourself now, man. You need to rebuild that version of yourself and create some strength and some will and some successive wins for you, because you're hating life. I mean, if you go through 200 women, you can't find a single one that's decent, you're hating life. I mean, you got to the point where you're like, well, let me swing for the other team and see what that's like. Dude, you're hating life. You're not gay. I mean, you're obviously straight. If you're asking me about women, where do you find the quality women? Do you go MGTOW? Yeah, you know what? Visit that place for a little bit. Sure, check it out for a little bit. Take some time off. Work on yourself. Burn some belly fat. Find something that you like to compete in. Don't worry about women too much. Go through, the book series that I've mentioned. There's a recommended reading list in all of my videos pinned in the description. I'd recommend you read all of those books. I think those should be, really just mandatory reading for all guys when it comes to being released upon the world, especially when you've got conditioning that you have had your entire life through your function of culture, religion, society, your upbringing, your parents shaming you. I mean, you said earlier on in your request that your mom tried to shame and enforce the entire marriage on you. And one thing that I forgot to mention at that time is there's a lot of people that are currently married today that are in terrible marriages because what they saw their parents live kind of through. And I don't know what the psychological term for that is. I don't have a piece of paper on the wall framed in mahogany that establishes my cred for this. But what I have observed, and it's an accurate observation, is a lot of guys will end up marrying some version of their mother. And it sounds a hell of a lot like you married this controlling woman. I mean, she sounds a lot like your mom, because your mom tried to control your life, arranged marriage. You have 2 days to meet her. When your spidey senses were tingling and saying, whoa, do you really want to marry this one? She seems a little crazy. She tries to enforce a marriage on you. They blackmail you. Her family blackmails you. There's all kinds, you got to work on yourself, dude. There's things missing there within you, because again, if you're going through 200 women, you can't find a single one that you can relate to or even have a good time with, and you're a good looking guy, obviously, then there's something in you that's holding you back. So I'd start there. Start with making yourself your own mental point of origin. Start with understanding the world as it is, not as it's been sold to you. There's a bill of sale that you've been sold, which is a load of crap, which is missing. It's got more holes in it than a block of Swiss cheese, brother. And you need to patch up those beliefs with new ones that serve you as a man, that are going to serve you going forward. Under no circumstances should you wife up anybody, live with anybody, or anything whatsoever until you get to know who the real person is. And you're not going to know that for 2 days. And I don't care what amount, and I'm going to get some flack for this, I don't care what amount of religious beliefs that you're going to subscribe to or what's been pounded into your skull since you were a kid. Obviously, it doesn't work. The facts reveal themselves here that arranged marriages with 2 days notice do not work. You can try. I'm sure there's some success stories out there, but look what happened to you, man. And this is a warning for a lot of guys out there. This is a big, big warning for a lot of guys out there. Stop. These cultural and religious beliefs are beta factories for men, and this is what you got. So it's time for you to get better results out of life, is what you're saying. Rich, how do I get better results? You make better choices. Where do the choices come from? This belief system, this gut within you, within your heart and your gut, that believes certain stories that you need to update yourself on so you can make some better choices to get the better results. I've talked about that before. There's a video on my channel, how to get better results out of life. You can search for that. Just, again, Entrepreneurs in Cars, how to get better results out of life. All right, let's wrap it up on that note. Quick shout out to the channel sponsor, Tactical Soap and Beard Oil. High quality, handmade soap in the United States. If you check out with coupon code Cooper, there's a link in the description below. If you check out with coupon code Cooper, you get 10% off at checkout. This beard oil, I use it every day. The soap is high quality and it's pheromone infused. Gives you a little bit of advantage on the sexual marketplace. You guys are showering anyway. Why not buy something that supports the creation of content on this channel? Okay, see you guys in the next video. Peace.